Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Silvanus Karemera, nkorera RBA. Nyakubahwa Perezida, ikibazo cyanjye gishingiye ku mwiherero muherutsemo. Nifuza kumenya ko Perezida wa Repubulika mu mwiherero mwagaragaje ibintu bisa naho bitagenda neza cyangwa se bitagenda ku muvuduko abanyarwanda bifuza, cyane cyane mu shyirwa mu bikorwa by'imishinga minini. Nifuza kumenya yenda ingamba zidasanzwe kugira ngo abayobozi babashe kubishyira mu bikorwa mu buryo bwihuse nkuko mwabaye nkaho mu bigaruka mu mwiherero ubushize. Murakoze.
Ngira ngo kubiganira ubwabyo abantu bakareba bitarakozwe cyangwa se bitarakozwe ko byagomba gukorwa n'intambwe byibutsa abantu bibukiranya ko hari intego dufite, hari bigomba gukorwa, hari n'uburyo bigomba gukorwa. Noneho abantu bagasuzuma impamvu bitaragenze neza, icyabiteye, bigatuma abantu basubira uko byari bikwiye kuba bimeze. Kuba rero byaravuzwe, byaraganiriwe kugeza kuri uriya rwego, ntabwo bivuze ko n'ubundi nta buryo cyangwa nta ngamba zari zihari z'ukuntu ibintu bikwiye kuba bikorwa, ahubwo bivuze gusa wenda ko abantu batujuje inshingano, bikaba nko kubibutsa kugira ngo izo inshingano zuzuzwe. Naho ndibwira ko nta gishya kindi cyavutse.
Next question from Imvaho Nshya.
Nitwa Wilson Twagira, umunyamakuru mu Mvaho Nshya. U Rwanda rugiye kwibuka ku nshuro 21 mu gihe hari ikibazo cy'abana b'imfubyi za genocide bagifite imitungo yabo batarasubizwa. Your Excellency, kugeza uyu munsi harabura iki cyangwa harakorwa iki? Murakoze cyane.
Ndibwira ko ushobora kuba atari nacyo kibazo cyonyine, ngomba ko hari ibibazo byinshi nyine ahubwo bitarakorwa. Uhereye no ku kibazo cya mbere bari bambajije, hari ibintu biba bisobanutse uko bikwiye kuba bikorwa, abantu ntibabikurikize uko bikwiye, ntibikorwe. Niyo mpamvu habaho gusuzuma iteka ikitarakorwa n'impamvu kitarakorwa. Nicyo ni kimwe muri ibyo bindi byose, nubwo gifite uburemere, hari abadakora, ariko bigomba kuba hari kuvuga ko bose batarabibona uko bikwiye cyangwa ikibazo kitarakemuka uko bikwiye, ariko ntabwo bivuze ko nta byigeze bikemurwa. Byarakemuwe bimwe, ariko byagenze buhoro, kugira ngo abantu n'ukureba uko twahera aho ngaho bikihutishwa kurusha.
I'm Feli Chimenyi from the New Times. My question is about Feli Chimenyi from the New Times. Your Excellency, 21 years precisely after the genocide, there's this issue of genocide denial that is continuously coming up. So how better do you think this problem can be tackled to have it dealt with once and for all?
Maybe dealt with once and for all. It will probably be there for a long time. Will always be there. The only way we can deal with the problem is in its wider context of rebuilding our country, of attending to the real issues, of people affected by this tragedy of genocide and its history and all the effects that have been there. I think if we concentrate on that, ourselves within the means we have to do that, or others that can be brought from outside, I think we will be dealing with the issue rather than just dealing with the politics of it all the time. You'll always have people who will be on the wrong side on this issue, and they have been there before, even for the genocide that happened. I mean, some people were on the wrong side. Even after, there will be people who associate with the wrong side. But we need to keep on the right side and keep doing what we can do to simply transform lives, improve lives, and deal with issues that have affected people so deeply by this problem. That's the only way I can deal with it.
Next question, Albert, CFA.
Rudat Simurgwa from Contact. Mr. President, it seems that we have more than one corridor now linking Rwanda to the Indian Ocean. And it looks like we have a renewed relationship with our neighbor and giving a new boost to the community. I would like to hear your take on this new relationship. And talking about renewed relationship, I would say. Talking about new season, we are in a season where everybody brings back the 2017 terms limits and eventual change of constitution. 20 years after 94, Mr. President, don't you feel that maybe it's also, this season is also an opportunity for Rwanda to reflect on that tool that we have as constitution that was designed in 2003 based on a 94 Arusha agreement, based on a constitution that was already there of Habyarimana? Isn't that maybe also the opportunity to widen up the debate and not just about Article 101? Thank you.
For the corridors being more than one, I still think they are not enough. We need more corridors than even the two. If we had one going westwards and connecting us to the Atlantic, I think I would be happy. And another one going south, and so on and so forth. But so the more corridors we can have, the better. But the fact that we were working on the northern corridor, which is very important to us, and even made more important by the fact that there are partners who really want to make it happen. Starting with that was very important, and there is progress already made, as you know, in different areas. And then the central one is equally important. Now that the parties concerned beyond Rwanda also want to have, together with Rwanda, to have it operational, and there are plans for it, there's mobilization for resources for that to happen. That's a very welcome prospect. So we are happy that we can, and we are ready to participate in any of these initiatives. And in any case, these are things we should have been doing in the East African community. So it's deepening actual integration for the East African community, which is a very good thing, as well as benefiting partner countries in the East African community. So it's a good idea. On the issue of, I know probably there are more people waiting to ask the same question, 2017. But actually, what is the problem? What is exciting people about 2017? What's the issue? I haven't. Probably you're asking even the wrong person. I haven't. So now, since I'm asked all the time, let me turn things around and ask you, what is the issue? What's that issue with the 2017? I haven't made any application for a job beyond 2017, which is the time I'll be seen and assumed to be unemployed. I haven't been asking for a job. So what is the issue? Did somebody give me a good context in which to give you the answer, or the answer you want? What is this thing I'm being crucified for every day? Yes, please.
Eugene Anangwe, Contact FM. Based on some of the different people...
Yeah, I see you on Twitter several times. Go ahead.
Yes. So the issue for some people that we've talked to, or those we've handled debates or discussions with, is they have a feeling that you have people in your kitchen cabinet who are...
I have no kitchen cabinet. I have a cabinet.
Yes, in your cabinet.
Yes.
That are pushing for a change of the constitution to allow you to run in 2017. And so there's been a debate on whether this would be good for Rwanda or it would not be good for the country, based on the track record that you have today. And this is the issue, Mr. President, I think.
Are you really saying, frankly, that this issue has started with the cabinet, the issue of 2017? For me, which I have heard for a very long time, from outside of cabinet, from other people other than the cabinet. Actually, so many journalists here are not members of my cabinet. They have been the ones who have been asking this question. So it's even unfair to be saying it's originating from members of cabinet. I don't think so. That's the first thing. I think that's not true. Now, but let me not waste much time on that. Let's do it like this. But the way it has been put also masks or hides the fact that actually let me say there are two groups, irrespective of the origin now, but one sure I dismiss the cabinet idea that it originated this. It's not true. But there are two groups of people, or at least two schools of thought. One is a school of thought that says, come 2017, there have been term limits in the Constitution. Come 2017, these term limits should not be, the term limits should not be removed. The Constitution should be respected as it is, and there is no reason whatsoever any change should happen. That's one group. The other group is saying, no, we think this constitution is made by people, it can be changed by people. We think something else should happen other than what it suggests. And we continue with the person we have in place, for whatever reasons they may give. These are the two schools of thought. You want to know where I belong? I belong to the first one, the former. So the debates are about that. So what else is not clear is in any environment, democratic environment especially, are debates an unhealthy thing? Are debates unhealthy? Because I have been educated politically in these processes that actually debates are a healthy thing. So, but it seems people are at each other as if this should not happen. People shouldn't talk about now, for me, if you want to know my opinion or if you want to know my position, and this is why I'm saying I'm surprised and I'm asking what is at issue, because when I'm being asked, it's about what I think, whether generally, in a general context, or personally. So personally, I have not raised a complaint at all to anyone. That's what I was saying. I have not told anybody how to think or what to think about 2017. I have not, and I don't intend to. Now it may say, the issue may be, yeah, but what about what you think generally? What I think generally, and even personally, have to be fused together at some point. So, and based on that, I say, and that's why I said I stand with the first one. I am asking those who think things should continue and the constitution should be, the article should be changed and we continue. They have a right to think the way they want to think. They have a right as much as anyone else. But since it concerns me personally as well, I have to be convinced. If the argument, if they convince me, I listen. I listen to what they are saying. There is a lot of convincing for me to change my opinion about where I stand, which is on the first one, which I told you. And for the other one, they'll have to convince somebody else, not me, because I have no problem with not continuing. Those who think nothing should be done, nothing should change, actually they don't have to convince me. Because for me, I'm convinced that come 2017, what should happen the way they expect it. but they have somebody else to convince. I think you need to turn your argument to those who think that things should change and convince them that things should not change. It's not me. It's what I'm trying to say from the beginning. That for those who say, come 2017, this president should not continue they should convince in this debate those who think the president should continue. This is why I'm saying probably you're asking the wrong person. Why don't people go out there and convince whether these are members of a cabinet, you said, but how about if it is the people so, and not members of cabinet? I think you need to go and educate these people that you people, why do you really want these things? Why do you want the article to change? Why do you want this man to continue? When there are alternatives, show them alternatives and how they will work and how things will be good or better even for them. Yes, that's possible. Why don't people turn that to those and say, otherwise you are telling me, oh, don't change the constitution, why will you do? No, it's not. I'm not an interested party here. And as I said, I haven't applied for a job after 2017 with anybody. I'm not worried about it. So, as a journalist or analyst or whatever, why don't you, in your own way, instead of just everything is just coming to me, bam, 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 you know, it's like you shouldn't go, you should go. So, and I'm saying, what's all this? Who told them, you know? It's as if I'm here in this office, really serving my own interests. No, I'm not. So you turn to those who think I should go and let them debate with those who think I shouldn't go. Let them tussle it out and give me some peace, please. Yes. And when it comes to my time, for those who want me to stay, they are the ones who have the task actually to convince me, not the other ones who want me to go. The other ones who want me to go have no problem with me because they are telling me even maybe what is on my mind. So, but those who want to, the only thing those ones will need to convince the other ones that no, they should let me go, should let me free and have my peace. And these ones who want me to stay, they really have to convince me that I have to stay or why I have to stay. But otherwise, I'm just being tossed here and there for nothing. And I want to do my job for between now and 2017. So bear with me and stop tossing me around for what will happen after when it comes 2017. Let me have my peace and do my job. And then we'll see. Yeah? What do you think?
Maybe as a follow-up question, are you saying that the other side that you're saying has to convince you to stay, if they have their reasons and they ultimately convince you, are you trying to say that you're open to stay on in 2017 if you're ultimately convinced?
Why are you putting it to me? Open. Still put it to them. just ask them, why are you putting this matter to him? Otherwise, do you want me to be deaf and not hear? Not even hear what the debates are? Listening is being open. Yes. And by the way, what business are we really talking about? Are we discussing affairs of people, of the nation? You know? Is it just a trivial discussion? To the point that I have a choice to be open or not to be open. We're talking about affairs and the lives of people, of this Rwanda. I'm not talking about another country, it is Rwanda. What is this issue of term limits? Let me put on my real boots now as a not so ordinary person, somebody who has fought for this country and for my people and for myself. Not just a bicycle rider on the street, not knowing which direction to go. So what is the issue here? How has it become that the lives of Rwandans can be switched off or on by just a term limit? Then you are trivializing people's rights, culture, and well-being or national interest. You are even narrowing, I think people are narrowing this in this debate. It's as if Rwandans and their lives, their future, their pride, is just hinged on saying, are you going, are you not going? No. It's, please, even with those, it comes to individuals, then it comes to other countries. When it comes to that, then I say, wait a minute, please, why don't you mind your own affairs? Let Rwandans mind their own affairs. Rwandans are not just like grass. You decide to dry up and burn and set fire on. No, we are very proud people, and we should be left to decide our business, debate, and when it comes to whoever they want. You know, I was saying it's like if Rwandans here tomorrow, he came to me and said, you know, President, we are tired of you. Now, it's 2015. If Rwandans really said, we are tired of you, I listen. I listen to them. I don't say, no, but I have to go up to 2017. No, I'll go. And the Constitution tells me 2017 is when you should serve up to. But now, it doesn't have to be written anywhere. If people here, the consensus was, you know, but President, I think you are a danger to us. You are doing nothing for us. We really want that hour. I will allow it to happen. So the issue is not term limit. You know, somebody said this. But if the somebody who said that is the one who is saying, no, I want to change my mind, and you tell me, am I open, or will I listen? So what are you talking about? You know? It turns the whole thing term limits or change or not change, and it's about me. So for me, I'm just happy with who I am, first of all, and where I am. And I know how I got there. If whatever is unfolding, I am open, I am listening. I'm open to going, I'm open to not going, depending on who takes the day in the interest of this country. But I have that side, which I told you, that I need, when it comes to my own self as a person, then so I need to be convinced to the rationale of the argument. And either side seem to have good arguments. And I have rights to those arguments. So how do you resolve that, other than being open and listening to them? Yeah, but this is not a trivial matter when it comes to Rwandan lives and our future and the context, the global context we live in. It's not some journalist's opinion that, or some politician or some that really has to be listened to more than the people of Rwanda. I think we should not trivialize that. Yeah.
Mr. President, when I introduced the question, indeed, I was thinking that maybe those two groups are keeping the debate a bit too narrow. You as an experienced...
Yeah, it's very narrow.
As an experienced politician, and from your days of your boots...
I don't think I'm a politician.
Well...
Yes, I do a lot of politics, but I don't think I'm a politician.
Yeah. There was a time I was just a musician myself. but I mean, with your experience in politics, and you're among the people who have designed this new Rwanda. Rwanda in '94, in 2003, in 2015 today, with the context, the East African community, all of that, do you still believe that that tool that you have with your colleagues designed and with the appropriation of the population of Rwanda still reflects the right tool for the next generation? Because that is the 101 is part of that. That is the, isn't that the...
I don't think I'm getting your question.
The question is that indeed, the question around the Constitution, maybe the terms limits is just a symptom of an old Constitution that was reflecting a political context after '94. Maybe in 2015, since we are debating, since we are reflecting, since we are discussing, shouldn't we be discussing a bit broader than just is about term limit? It's maybe that tool, that Constitution, that needs maybe a reshape in general.
It's even broader than that. You see, that's why the debate is made to sound very simplistic. Because that's why when we are talking about, and this is why I think maybe I shouldn't have been involved, but there's no way I can run away from it. Because whatever I say is used against me. You see? Because or is used in favor of one party or the other. Because like now when you see somebody said, are you saying you are open? Now, the way it unfolds, it is the conclusion will be, the deal is done. The president is actually thinking of staying. You see? It will be used by either side any way they want. Some people will say, oh, you see, the other ones have won the debate because, you see, he's even ready to listen. As if I'm really supposed to be deaf and not hear anything. That question is my whole being in the first place. You see? And does the life of this nation, the life of these people, these Rwandans, really depend on that one article in the first place? How does the lives, the whole country, the whole nation, how does it get narrowed to one piece of article? And which article you are talking about, by the way? How did it come about? Who put it there? Who did? Is it me? Did I write a constitution? Who did? So why don't you go ask them, why do you want to change your opinion on this? Isn't it important that you maintain it? This is why I was saying, why don't people turn around and go convince these very people and say, oh, why even thinking of changing this? What business do I have in it? Before I make my decision, something else must happen. It's not me, because I'm not asking anybody to change the Constitution. But everybody is finding it easy to attack me. No, you attack these ones who are saying they want to change their Constitution. Or maybe you also be open and listen to them. Because, why don't you listen to them or argue with them and say, no, you have no point in changing this. Now the question should maybe, if these people actually who are saying the Constitution needs to be changed, if they decide now not to change it, President, are you going to have a problem with them? So maybe you should be asking me that. So I think the whole debate, which is supposed to be healthy, is trivialized. Yes. It's made personal, it's just about me, and the whole substance is lost in that. Yes.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Rafiki Clement uturuka kuri Radio Salus. His Excellency, twagiye tubona raporo zitandukanye zituruka kuri Auditor General, umugenzuzi mukuru w'imari ya leta na PAC. Mujye muhina ibibazo kugira ngo dushobore kugera. Izo raporo zagendaga zigaragaza bimwe mu bigo bya leta byagiye bigaragaza guhomba bikangiza n'umutungo. Aha twavugamo nk'ikigo cyagaragaye nka Ewasa yahombye miliyari zigera muri 28, tukabonamo na Onatracom zigera hejuru ya miliyari 3 na miliyoni 800, tukabona na Nejo Ministeri y'Ubuzima imbere y'inteko byagaragaye ko hari amafaranga yagiye akoreshwa akangirika.
Okay, so what is your point? What's your problem?
Point ni ukuvuga iyo PAC imaze kubigeza kuri Ministeri y'Ubutabera yasohoye nayo raporo bitagaragaye neza imbere ya PAC na Auditor General, aho bavuze bati batuzanira udufi duto.
So ikibazo cyawe ni iki?
Ikibazo mu mwiherero ushize mwavugaga ko byaba biterwa no kuba harimo bamwe mu bayobozi bahishira abandi badashaka kugaragaza babandi bifi binini. Ingamba icyo nashaka kubaza ni nk'ingamba zaba ziriho kugira ngo abo bayobozi bamwe bagenda bahishira abandi bafatirwa ingamba kugira.
Kandi se ko ingamba arizo ngizo zo kuba biganirwaho wabyumviye ni izo ngizo kubishyira hanze no kubishyiramo iperereza kugira ngo ukuri kumenyekana. Icya kabiri, ntabwo ibibazo biri hamwe gusa cyangwa biri ahandi. Ibibazo biri ahantu hose. Ibibazo biri mu buryo bwo kumenya ikibazo uko giteye. Ibibazo biri twagiye tunabisanga biri no n'abamenyekanye ko bafite ikibazo, hari nubwo bajya mu nkiko ukabona barabikiza, bafite uko babikize kandi barakwiye kuba babihanirwa. Ibibazo biri ku nzego zose, ariko icyangombwa ni ugukomeza gusunika kugira ngo abantu imirimo yose abayishinzwe bashobore mbere na mbere no kuyumva no kugira ubushobozi bwo kugira ngo bakore imirimo yabo gukwiriye. Icya kabiri noneho n'ubushake bwo kugira ngo n'igihe wamenye ukuri ugira ubushake bwo kugira ngo niba ari ibikeneye ibihano umuntu ahanwe uko bikwiriye cyangwa se akosorwe uko bikwiriye. Ni ibibazo rero biri ku nzego zose, ariko cyane cyane kugira ngo bishoboke n'inzego ebyiri cyane cyane. Iya mbere ni ubushobozi, urwego rwa mbere ni ubushobozi, urwego rwa kabiri ni ubuyobozi bukwiriye kuba bukurikirana ibi bintu kugira ngo ibintu byangombwa bishyirwe mu bikorwa byo gukurikirana abantu no kubahana. Naho ubundi kuba ubivuga utyo nk'unabizi warabyumvise uko bivuga ubwabyo ni intambwe ndende. Iyo byagiye hanze ukuri kugenda kurushaho kumenyekana, icyo gisigaye ni ugushyira ibintu mu bikorwa.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Jean Lambert Gatare wo muri Radio Isango Star. Nyakubahwa, mu gihugu cy'abaturanyi b'Abarundi ibintu bimeze nabi, hari umutekano mukeya, mwarabyumvise abaturage batangiye guhungira mu Rwanda. Mugirihe nama mugenzi wanyu Perezida Nkurunziza, haba muri East African Community duhuriyemo nabo, namwe ubwanyu nk'igihugu cy'abaturanyi mumugirihe nama, kuko bigaragara ko amatora yo mu kwezi kwa gatandatu uyu mwaka ashobora gukurura ibibazo kandi n'u Rwanda ntabwo byarusiga. Murakoze.
Ntabwo nibwira ko Abarundi cyangwa igihugu cyarindi cyari cyo cyose gikwiye kuba gifite uburenganzira bwacyo bwo kwigenga, kiba kiraho gikeneye abakigira inama. Nibwira ko bafite ubushobozi bwo gukemura ibibazo bafite. Abantu bose iyo bafite ibibazo hagati yabo, ariko iyo bashatse inkunga nibo bayisaba abantu bakayibaha. Biracyari kuri urwo rwego ngiye nibwira ko ibibazo Abarundi baba banyuramo bafite muri iki gihe, ndibwira ko baracyafite ubushobozi hagati yabo kubyirangiriza, bitabujije ko abantu turebera kure bishobora gutuma abantu bagira icyo babaza bati hari icyo mukeneye, hari icyo abantu babunganira, ko hari ibibazo nk'ubu ejo bundi bambwiraga hari abantu bamaze guhunga bava mu Burundi baza mu Rwanda, ariko icyo gihe inzego zibishinzwe ari ku ruhande rw'u Burundi ari ku Rwanda baravugana, icyo kibazo kikamenyekana tukamenya icyo ari cyo, noneho umuti ukaba wakemurwa, umuti ukaba waboneka, ikibazo kigakemurwa. Biracyari kuri urwo rwego. Ko igihe bigenda biza rero ibisubizo biraboneka cyangwa se haguma hagaragara ibibazo, icyo gihe abantu bagashaka uko bafasha.
Next question from Izuba.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Tuyisenge Leonard, nkorera ikinyamakuru Izuba Rirashe. Ikibazo cyanjye kijyanye n'iyangirika ry'ikirere mu Rwanda, ariko cyane cyane mu mujyi wa Kigali. Nafata urugero nko ku ubonye zino poto kuva uko umuhanda ugenda ukagera peyaje ujya mu mujyi, poto ziragenda zinduka imikara zari umweru. Nifuza kubabaza ingamba zaba zihari kugira ngo icyo kibazo gikemuke, kuko bigaragara ko abantu batangiye guhumeka umwuka utari mwiza.
Ntabwo batangiye bari kubimaze igihe, ahubwo nyine hari igihe kinini cyane, ngira ngo hari bigaragara ko hari ibijyanye n'ibidukikije bigomba kwitabwaho, biraganirwa. Ngira ngo niba uzi neza mu bihe byashize hari ubwo twigize no guhagarika ikoreshwa rya mazutu irimo meto yitwa LED, nabyo byarekanaga muri iyo nzira. Turashakisha ni gutera amashyamba, tubwira abantu no hari ndetse n'ibigo bisuzuma amamodoka uko ameze. Hari ibigenda biba amamodoka nka za filters ubundi zifasha kuyungurura ibintu bimwe biba bidakwiriye kujya hanze mu mwuka abantu bahumeka. bigenda bikorwa ariko ntabwo bihagije turacyashaka izindi ngamba za kongera kuri izo ngizo kugira ngo umwuka abantu bahumeka nyine cyangwa se ibindi byose bidukikije byahungabanya ubuzima bw'abantu bishobora kuba byakosorwa iteka ndakwereka ko gusa hari ibimaze gukorwa bike hari n'ibindi bikigwa kugira ngo bibe byakorwa naho kubona twaraciye za plastics tukabuza za mazutu zishobora gutera indwara z'ubuhumekero kubera ibyo zishyira mu kirere n'ibindi byerekana ko abantu babitekereza tuzakomeza tugerageze kubyihutisha turebe.
Next question to Reuters, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Clement Wiringimana. I work for Reuters and Radio Flash. I have a question about what has been the Israeli media. They've been reporting that the Israeli government has dealt with Rwanda and Uganda to deport illegal migrants to Rwanda and Uganda, and these are Eritreans and Sudanese. And I wanted to know if this deal has ever been made between Rwanda and Israel, because the media is saying this and the government is saying that two countries in Africa have accepted that deal. And if you allow, another question is probably to get a clear response about the third term and what people call third term and the constitutional change. The Minister of Justice, the Minister of Local Government
I think calling it third term is wrong.
Yeah.
Call it something else.
Yeah. They've said it that personally they also support what people are saying.
Who?
The Minister of Justice and the Minister of Local Government.
So the ministers?
And other government officials. Mm-hmm. And this is a sign that they can even push what the people might think like. So thank you.
Yeah, on that arrangement between, I will say for Rwanda, I don't know about another country, Rwanda and Israel. Yes, I know there has been this discussion, and it has been a debate in Israel. It is these Africans who have migrated to Israel, as they do to many other European countries, and some of them either there illegally or others, different status. And it is, I think the issue was Israel wanted to return them, take them back to the country they came from. And some of them are saying, no, if you took us back to the countries we came from, there is a danger, depending on how they left. So the Israel, where they suggested to them, said, no, but can we take you to other countries? And we will tell you which countries, and you will say which one you want to go to as an alternative rather than your own country. And I think there is, as I learned about it, there is some package they give them to leave. So we have been approached. I heard some of our people have been handling it, especially the immigration department. I don't know the details this far, but more or less that has happened. For, again, the repetition of the term limits and the ministers, well, ministers who say it, they have the right to say what they want to say as well. So what they say and what people say and so on. for me, I'm just waiting for any of them to convince me to their viewpoint when it comes to my making the decision.
With your permission, sir, we can take 2 more questions. And
Yeah, but there are people here, you are not concentrated on your local friends. Some of these...
East African?
Thank you, Excellency. I'm Gold Bana, I work for the East African. My first question is regarding Rwanda-Tanzania relations. We've seen in the last few weeks, exchange of visits. One key question we are wondering is whether, to what extent, the relations between the two countries have improved, specifically the substantive issues around FDR, support for the opposition. To what extent have they been resolved? My second question is about the recent meeting in Addis, where we're talking about Agenda 2063. Now, for many people, when they see African countries come together with things like that, they think again about so many protocols that we have that have not been implemented. So, you were in Addis. What is different about Agenda 2063? Thank you.
Right. I didn't realize things were so bad between us and Tanzania that when we talk to each other, it becomes headlines. But yes, we are all in East African community. We work for one common objective of integration. And, well, people may have different views around different issues, but at the end of the day, the interests are the same. There are common objectives. So the visits happened, as you said, and I think the visits are a good thing. We discuss issues of mutual interest. But this time around, whether on the visit of the President of Tanzania to Rwanda or my own visit to Dar es Salaam to Tanzania, we didn't touch issues to do with FDR or some of these other issues that have characterized the media. We were more forward-looking and addressing future good relations and working relations so that our people benefit. We do more business, we invest in infrastructure for our development and for the people to do the businesses I was talking about. That's where we really concentrated. The rest we left in the background.
My second question was about Agenda 2063.
2063 came in the context of COMESA is about trade, investment, and of course leading to development. And COMESA is part of the continent, and the continent has, last time we celebrated 50 years of Africa coming together and doing things together. Then we said in the next 50 years we could double or even triple or quadruple our efforts and move fast our development. So COMESA as a regional organization, part of our continent, was looking at its business in the context of what Africa wants to be. That is really what it provided the umbrella, it gave guidelines as to how does COMESA improve? How does it do business in this context of wanting to see Africa where we want it in the next 50 years? That is all.
Next
Let me
question.
help you. I take over. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to revisit the issue of integration, where you said that there needs to be more corridors. And the worry here is that maybe this deepening of integration with a sort of threatened security of some of the member states might be an elusive dream, or might be threatened in many ways, because this morning Kenya woke up to terror attacks in Garissa, northeastern. And last time we were sitting here during the Northern Corridor meeting with the presidents of Kenya and Uganda, we talked of an issue of sharing intelligence when it comes to security issues and dealing with insecurity as a region. So I'd like us to hear maybe from you, how do we move forward from here and assure the East Africans that we are one when it comes to fighting terror attacks, and not just each individual country seemingly dealing with the insecurity issues on their own? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. We can assure the East Africans that we are working together. And maybe, let me put it this way. If we were not maybe working together, additional to partner countries' efforts, maybe you would be seeing more Garissas than this one. This one is bad enough. We don't need it. But without countries' efforts individually and then collectively, we probably would be having more of those. But if the question was, is there room for improvement? I think absolutely. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for us to work together very closely and effectively, and even prevent one from happening if possible. There's always that desire and need, actually, and we keep working together. We have created a force for the East African region. We've assembled it, we've equipped it, we're having as a planning element to it. It has already, that is good steps. And then we can, with intelligence, the intelligence leaders work together as well. They share, maybe they need to do more of it and better, and so on. So I think the idea of working together more closely is a pertinent one. And every time we see such an incident, maybe today it was there, and tomorrow it will be somewhere else. Every time it happens, we are reminded there is a danger we need to confront of insecurity, and the best way to do that is to work together. Yeah. Yes? Kwanza huyo, then I'll come to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will talk about diplomacy too. Your relation, relation between Rwanda and South Africa went tense last year after the death of Patrick Karegeya. Both embassies expelled diplomats, and in consequences, for example,
what is that?
Both embassies expel diplomats.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in consequences, it seems complicated for Rwandan to get, for example, a visa to go to South Africa. Are you worried about the consequences of that clash on, I don't know, Rwandan companies, and do you see any improvement in the future of this relation? Thank you.
Yes, there is always a way to resolve any problem. So whatever problem there is between us and South Africa or any other country, we always find ways of addressing them.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Mbabazi Dorothy, nkorera Radio na TV1. Ikibazo cyanjye ni ikirebana n'abaturage badafite aho babariza ibibazo byasizwe n'inkiko gacaca. Urugero n'urw'abaturage bo mu murenge wa Rusiga mu karere ka Rulindo mu ntara y'Amajyaruguru. Bafite ikibazo cy'uko buri muturage wese cyangwa se buri rugo agomba gutanga ibihumbi 500 kugira ngo hishyurwe imitungo cyangwa se ibyangijwe muri jenoside. Abarezwe muri gacaca mu gihe batarimo kugaragara. Iki kibazo bakigejeje kuri Minijiste basaba kujurira, ariko bakibaza uburyo bajurira batarigeze baregwa cyangwa se badafite umwanzuro w'urukiko. Abaturage rero barimo kwibaza aho bazabariza ibibazo byasizwe n'inkiko gacaca, cyane ko niyo tugerageje kuvugisha Minijiste itagitangaho ubusobanuro burambuye.
Ikibazo cyo nicyo kugera muri Minijiste. Ikibazo cyaba gihari nuko Minijiste yaba itabisobanura neza cyangwa zimya microphone.
Nari mfiteho ikindi kibazo gito kigufi cyane.
Bibazo urangize.
Murakoze cyane. Ni ikibazo cy'abashoramari bashora imari mu Rwanda. Bashora imari mu Rwanda nibyo tukabona amafaranga, ariko ubuzima bw'abantu bahabwa akazi muri iriya mirimo y'abashoramari busa naho hari abafatwa nk'abacakara. Urugero ndarutanga kuri kampani imwe yubaka amazu hano mu Gacuriro. Umunyarwanda umwe yasewe n'imashini igihe yari ari mu kazi. Bivugwa ko iyo mashini ishobora kuba yakoreshejwe n'umwe muri iriya kampani akamusya ku bushake. Hadaciye iminsi undi nanone arahakubitirwa. Iyo ugerageje kuvugana n'ibigo byahaye abo bashoramari akazi cyangwa se baje gushoramo imari, ntabwo baguha ubusobanuro burambuye ku cyakorwa wenda kugira ngo ubuzima bw'abantu bukomeze kubungwabungwa. Ikibazo nari mfite ndibaza nti aho wenda ntabwo twaba dushaka amafaranga, ariko ubuzima bw'abantu ntibugende neza.
Ntabwo ari byo.
Murakoze.
Ntugatangire utekereza nabi, utangire utekereza neza hanyuma biganishe ku nibyanga bikaba bibire n'ubone kugira ikibazo. Ku cyambere bikandangize aho kubariza ni muri Minijiste nkuko babikoze. Ikibazo niba ari Minijiste kubera ko idatanga ibisobanuro bihagije, ubwo tuzareba Minijiste itanga ibisobanuro bihagije. Naho nta handi bikwiriye kuba bijya gusobanurirwa atari aho ngaho. Ubwo ibyo bibazo bindi bisigaye Minijiste izatanga izajya inama uko byakemurwa, hanyuma ubwo natwe twese tuzamenya niba hari aho twafasha, uko twafasha. Ndibwira ko ari icya kabiri, icyo kibazo cya kabiri wari uvuze. Abagiriwe nabi nabo ba investors naho hari aho bakwiriye kuba batwara ibirego. Ahantu hambere bari bakwiye no kujya ni muri polisi ahubwo cyangwa n'ahandi mu nzego z'ubutabera. Ntabwo ari ukujya kubwira abo bandi abo bashoramari. Iby'uko rero umushoramari yakora nabi ntaho bihuriye n'abantu gukunda amafaranga cyangwa iki. Abantu bakora nabi nyine ku mpamvu zitandukanye. Ikibazo iyo cyamenyekanye gikwiriye gukemuka, ariko urumva birasa nkaho ntaho bagitwaye. Niba maragitwaye mu bapolisi bakabirukana cyangwa bakabura ngo ari umushoramari wabikoze ntacyo twakora, cyangwa mu bundi butabera, ubwo twasuzuma abapolisi nabo bagomba kuba bari bafite ikibazo. Naho byatangaza kumva ko hari abantu baba bashoramari cyangwa n'abandi abari bose bagirira abantu nabi, abantu bakabura babarenganura. Icyo ni ikibazo ubwo cyaba ari icyacu. Ikibazo cyacu ntabwo ari ikibazo cy'abashoramari, kuko umushoramari niba yanagize nabi ntabwo yabuza inzego zacu gukora gukurikirana urubanza nk'urwo ngurwo kugira ngo uwarenganijwe arenganurwe. Ntabwo ikibazo cyaba ari icy'abashoramari. Abashoramari bo bashyirwa ku murongo n'amategeko uko bikwiriye. Kuba bidakorwa ni inshingano yacu, ni ikibazo cyacu cya inzego zacu ko zaba zitujuje inshingano. Ariko ubwo ndibwira ko niba izo kazizwe mukwiriye kuzigeza aho zikwiriye kuba zigera, n'abandi bari hano bo mu zindi nzego zitandukanye ndizera ko babyumvise. Yes, Shaka.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Shaka Kanuma of the Rwanda Focus newspaper. I will turn the question to the economy, Mr. President. We have been experiencing good economic growth of 7%, but I think we could be doing better if the red tape in certain government departments or even agencies were reduced. Mr. President, there are incidents where the government expenditure should have been more to stimulate the economy, but because of certain reluctance to act, if I may say, sometimes it can take 7 months, 8 months for a decision to spend money, even when the budget is there, Mr. President, to the extent that sometimes a whole economic year ends and budgets go back without being spent, which translates to a direct loss to businesses and to the economy in general. I wonder whether there could be actually a special focus on this, because it's really very bad when the economy is not being stimulated enough. We could even be talking about 10% growth, 12% growth, and so on.
It doesn't need to be special focus, just needs to be focused. I mean, it needs to be done the way it should be done. Why should anybody delay something that should have been achieved in a shorter time and have it in a much longer time? I am on the same side with you. I don't understand that. And maybe what we need to do is not only focus, but also penalize the people who really have the means and tools in their hands and don't use them to deliver what they need to be delivering. So we need to just, and these mechanisms are there to deal with such issues. We just have to make sure they are working. Yes.
Allow me. Some of these people might be using excuses which, in my opinion, do not really count. They might be saying, okay, in the last Umngeherero, there was such a concentration on misuse of funds and so on. So then they become very frightened. They stop carrying out
that is an offense they should actually be penalized for. That's why I'm saying they should. Some of them just need to be held accountable. And not accept such an excuse, because it shouldn't count. RBA, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to take you back to the question of presidential term limits.
Again?
Yes, again. Now, if democracy is about the will of the people, and the Rwandan people have poured out their hearts, some have even threatened to take their lives if you don't continue to serve. If people are already threatening to do this, and some have said they will even migrate, don't you think this is convincing enough? Thank you.
Well, we need to hear more. Not only from those, but from others who say democracy is just about term limits. Because basically that's where the argument is. Some people are saying term limits are so central to democracy that nothing should be said or listened to about it. That is in different direction. So, but it is all. It has many angles for the argument either way. So let's have it play out, and then we see what Rwandans want and why, and then we will I think at the end of the day, this is a simpler problem to resolve. At least where I stand personally, I have been in a worse situation than this one. So if I wasn't swallowed by the other one, this one really is just some kind of breakfast. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Danny Ngabonziza. I work for Keti Press and Kigali today. Mr. President, last year you presented some bankable projects when you traveled to United States, UK, and some parts of Asia. What's the impact so far? Is it satisfying or disappointing?
I should be turning to you to tell me, because these are things you should be seeing or knowing, other than me going out there asking people to come here to invest. But I think if you ask different sectors of our economy, if you ask RDB, they show you numbers and names and that show people. In fact, recently there have been different groups, say, from UK that came following the meeting we had there of people, real investors, others who have already opened companies here and they have opened a business, they've started investing, the processes are ongoing. Following that conversation we had, was it last October or October, November? I think October. Already, that's one example, and we see many more from Dubai. People have been here. See many from Europe, from Germany, from the Netherlands. The other day, the Belgian groups were here. They are not just visiting for fun. There are those who visit for fun and tourism and so on. There are others who are really coming here for serious business, as we realize the numbers speak for themselves. Yes.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa
Sorry,
Cleophas Barore.
Stephanie, I'm better placed here to see these people, so you can take your back seat and rest.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Cleophas Barore, and umunyamakuru muri RBA. Mfite utubazo tubiri.
So RBA, you are doubling here. I'm seeing another RBA here, just asked, and then you wabajije kamwe tukara.
Reka mbaze kamwe. Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika. Hirya no hino iyo tugenda tubona hari igikorwa cyiza cyo kwagura imihanda, aho bagiye bashinga amapoto bigaragara ko bashaka kwagura imihanda kandi ni byiza. Ariko nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, abaturage baturiye iyo mihanda ku metero zigera muri 11, ubwo butaka bari basanzwe babubaruweho mbere baranabusorera. Uyu munsi ariko ntibemerewe kubukoresha. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, abaturage y'umuganira baravuga batese tuzakomeza gusorera ubutaka tutemerewe gukoresha. Ikibazo cyabo mumva cyakemuka gute yo Excellence?
Barabusorera?
Kuko bukibanditseho.
No, ubundi ariko hari ubutaka hafi n'umuhanda bukwiriye kuba butari ubw'umuntu. Sinzi impamvu bidakurikizwa, ariko abantu bareba neza amategeko. Niba ubundi harimo kwica amategeko ku mpande zombi. Hari ubwo abantu nabo batura mu ntambwe zidakwiriye kuba ziturwamo, ubwo bawisha amategeko. Abo ngabo basoresha abantu ubutaka badakwiye kuba basorera, nabyo no kwica amategeko. So inzego zacu zikwiye kubisuzuma bigakiranuka. Tuzabikurikirana turebe ikibazo icyo ari cyo tubikemure. You want to go again?
Mr. President, I wanted to take further the discussion on 2017, and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I have to do this, but I wanted to shift the discussion.
You were the one in my position and continue being asked 2017.
I'm sorry, I would like to shift the discussion to the economy.
Yes.
For instance, what we've seen in the recent election in Nigeria, because of investor concern around the unpredictability and stability, we had them pull out resources of the economy, and as a result, the Naira has gone down. So looking at Rwanda.
Now, actually, what I was reading about Nigeria, the stocks are hitting the roof because of what has happened in these last couple of days, the victory of Buhari.
So for an economy like Rwanda, of course, being a smaller economy, we don't have that luxury. So I'm wondering, what assurance can you...
We even have that luxury. It depends, it doesn't happen one way. You see, you could have easily had a situation where the incumbent in Nigeria, if he had been the one re-elected, actually it could had the stocks going even higher. It was possible, but this time it was the other way around for different factors. You see what I mean? So for us, but I think I get your point. It's about markets, whichever way you look at it, but beyond the markets, I think we are talking about people really. That's why I was saying sometimes we shouldn't just trivialize the issue and limit it to some textbook or some story by somebody who, after all, when they quote situation or certain situations, sometimes they quote them out of context or they don't tell the whole story, isn't it? So it's about people. And so in Rwanda, precisely that's why I was saying let the debate play out. The debate will most likely give us where that confidence stands, and that will contribute to probably the decision that people will make after that. You see what I mean? So a combination of factors, internal, external, and the markets, they play out to the point that, for example, what has happened, since you use the case of Nigeria, that the stocks went through the roof when the results were announced. It's not something that happened just that time. The story was even before. You see what I mean? The story must have been written well before, which means when things go this direction, the signals are very good. When things go in this direction, the signals point in the opposite direction. This is a story that builds up to that point, right? So here in Rwanda, the debate playing out is indicative of that as well. Maybe at some point people will start saying, you know what, if we take this direction, it means this for the country. When we take things in this direction, it means this for the country. This is the good thing about these debates. And of course, the markets, even if they would be there silent, they also have a way to express themselves, or seemingly silent. Now, but let me really summarize the story for you in 2017 briefly, and the peculiarities of Rwanda per se. In Rwanda, I think, in my understanding, and politics, there are a couple of things, maybe three, that are very important for the country, over which we may not even negotiate. One is the security of the country, security in its real sense. We have not had enough of lack of security. So for the people of Rwanda, I think for a long time, they will need to have what they lacked for a long time, and that's security. Security of people, feel secure, and then be able to do what they know best is good for them. Number two is the social and economic progress that must be made. The economy that changes people's lives. Number three is their freedoms, their self-determination, the people of Rwanda. These three, for me, will have to be fulfilled by whoever comes after me at any one point, or will have to be fulfilled by me when I'm still in this office. Because I know the story of Rwanda very well. I know what Rwandans deserve. I know most of the things about Rwanda, as you would know. And I think these three things are very important. The rest, people are free to say whatever they want. They are free to, especially those outside of this Rwandan three things that I'm talking about. You can say anything, you can write anything, you can dictate anything theoretically, but these three things must be fulfilled. And I think on that one, it's a life and death issue. So if you get me, then you know where I stand.
Nitwa Bazil Wimana nkorera Family TV. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, guhera ku nshuro ya 20 mu Rwanda rwibuka Jenoside yakorewe Abatutsi bizajya byizirizwa ku rwego rw'igihugu nyuma y'imyaka 5. Muri ya myaka 4 abanyarwanda bategereje ko byongera kwibukwa ku rwego rw'igihugu, ntabwo bishobora guhabwa agaciro gake aba mu baturage cyangwa se babandi bagihakana Jenoside bakabona ingufu zo kuvuga ko
agaciro gake kafuse he nabwo bisa neza ikibazo.
Guhera ku nshuro ya 21 kwibuka Jenoside bizaba bikorwa ku rwego rw'igihugu nyuma y'imyaka 5. Mu yindi myaka bizaba bikorwa ku midugudu cyangwa se
ntabwo ari byo ariko
niko
oya ugomba ko arabyumvise nawe. Kwibuka ku rwego rw'igihugu, urundi rwego se rutari rw'igihugu n'uruhe? Ahubwo ni ku rwego rw'igihugu mu buryo butandukanye. Naho ntabwo ibintu byose ni mu rwego rw'igihugu. Byaba bitari mu rwego rw'igihugu se itariki 7 z'ukwezi kwa 4 bikaba ari ikiruhuko, bikaba ari umwanya cyangwa iyo period kabiriho inanditswe no kuri kalenda ko ntabwo byaba ari ku rwego bitari urwego rw'igihugu ntabwo byabaho. So byose ni ku rwego rw'igihugu, ahubwo ni mu buryo butandukanye, ndetse bifite agaciro kabyo, aho bijya ku nzego za buri mu gihugu hose, ahubwo njye nibwira ko bifite agaciro kabyo. Ni uburyo butandukanye gusa, ni different kinds of ways of management, but it's not ntabwo ari byavuyeho, niko mbyumvaje.
Narifite n'ikindi kibazo cya kabiri. Igihugu cya Zambia ni kimwe mu bihugu bigifite abanyarwanda bagiye bitwa impunzi, ariko irebye impande zombi, yaba uruhande rw'u Rwanda n'urwa Tanzania, harimo haragaragara ubushake bw'uko abanyarwanda bagaruka mu gihugu cyabo, ariko ugasanga ikibazo cyari kuri bo, usanga batarabishaka. Haba hari ikindi leta y'u Rwanda iteganya gukora ku byo yakoze kugira ngo bashobore kuba bataha?
Icyo u Rwanda ruteganya no gukomeza kuvugana n'ibihugu bibacumbikiye n'abanyarwanda ubwabo. Turakomeza kuvugana uko ibintu bimwe bitwara igihe, bitwara gusobanura, bitwara ingero, bisaba ingero n'ibindi nk'ibyo. So no gukomeza gukurikirana ku mpande zombi abantu ubwabo n'ibyo bihugu barimo nibyo tugerageza gukora. So if you are happy then
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Philibert Hagengimana nkorera igihe.com. Kuva mu mpera z'umwaka ushize habayeho inkundura y'iyegura ry'abameyazi ndetse bamwe bari no gukurikiranwa mu nkiko, ariko kuri bamwe bisa naho bitari binatunguranye kuko meya ubu nta manda agira, bivuze ko ukoze neza ashobora no kuba meya uhoraho. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika,
na meya nta manda bagira?
ngira ngo
ariko reka tujye ku kibazo cyawe cyari iki?
Nagira ngo mbaze niba nta buryo bushoboka ko nabo bashyirirwaho manda ku buryo bitazajya
manda ubundi ziriho, ufite ibihe bagenda manda uvuga cyangwa ni limits uvuga nyirawo?
Yes,
kuzifunga
ku buryo bashyirwaho manda umubare uzwi nabo.
Kubera icyo byungura ni iki?
Nibaza ko bitazajya bituma meya agomba gutegereza igihe azategereza kwinubirwa kugira ngo abone kuva.
Oya, ariko ntabwo ugomba gutegereza, ahubwo niyo mpamvu n'ibyo byashobotse. Navuga abo ba meya wavugaga bavanyweho begujwe, abandi ntabwo byagombye gutegereza manda, ntaho bihuriye na manda. Bahagaritswe cyangwa bakurikiranwe n'inkiko na manda zabo zitararangira. Ndavuga gushyiraho term limits, ndumva ntaho bikemura icyo kibazo. Kuko niyo barimo ntiyanarangiye, ahubwo kubera ko bagombye gukurikiranwa aho ikibazo kigaragariye. Ikibazo iyo kigaragaye ukirimo arakurikiranwa. So ibyo gushyiraho term limit ntacyo byongeraho kuri mayors. Ndagerageza kumva icyo utekereza byakungura hagiyeho term limit, nabo ndacyumva neza. Cyangwa ntabwo ikibazo cyangwa nicyo utacyumva hari. Urumva icyo mbaza, icyo mvuga? Meya reka tuvuge ngo umushyiriyeho ko akora manda ebyiri, sibyo? Yakora ikibazo, yagira ikibazo nk'iki agomba gukurikiranwa mu manda ya mbere cyangwa ya kabiri, arakurikiranwa. Niyo yagira iya gatatu arakurikiranwa. So kuzigabanya, keretse uvuze uti aba banyabyaha bajye bahabwa manda ebyiri, ubwo no kuvuga ngo wakoze judgment mbere yuko baba na ba mayors. Urumva icyo mvuga? Gukurikiranwa nta hantu mbifiteho ikibazo kubyo uvuga. Aho mfite ikibazo ntarumva neza ni manda. Kuko abo noneho niba navuga uti manda iyo zirenze ebyiri bituma bagira appetite y'ibibazo batari bafite. Ibintu bibiri, abenshi bakurikiranwe ba mayors abangaba ntabwo ari abamaze igihe kinini. So ntabwo icyo cyaba ari igisobanuro. Icya kabiri, naho bazagirira appetite yo gukora ibyo byaha bazahanwa, bavanweho. Ntabwo rero ndumva term limit icyo yatwungura. Ariko icyangombwa, aho ukoreye icyaha kwe gukurikirana, waba uri mu manda ya mbere, ya kabiri, ya gatatu. Sibyo? Urabona cyakora bijyanye n'aya manda zindi. Ubu nanjye ndimo ndahanirwa icyaha ntarakora, ariko mutegereje nkakora icyaha mukampana, naho mugiye kumpana nta n'icyaha ndakora. Muranyishyuza ibyata muri mitsi nge ntararangiza n'izanjye mwampaye ngiye kubyishyurira. Anyone who hasn't asked a question maybe then
Murakoze nyakubahwa perezida, nitwa Solange Umurerwa, ndi umunyamakuru wa KFM. Mu minsi ishize hari umunyemari wapfuye witwa Rwigara Paul, umuryango wiwe ubandikira ibaruwa ngira ngo basaba ko ngo mwabafasha kugira ngo babashe gukorwa iperereza. Ndashaka kubabaza niba hari igisubizo mwarigeze mubaha.
twarakibahaye, babonanye na minisitiri y'uyu mu presence office b'umuryango baje kubareba. Baraje ariko babanje kujya kureba RFI, bareba kandi BBC, ari ubwo ibintu byo mu Rwanda biragoranye nyine, ntabwo nzi icyo babanje kujya kureba muri BBC na RFI ariko RFI ushobora kuba yaranabibavugiye bataranagerayo kubera ko bakurikirana ibibazo bya hano cyane bakabyita inyito bashatse kurusha iyi iriyo. Ibyo nabyo niyo si tubamo, ubwo dutwara ibintu uko bimeze, ariko baje kureba minisitiri. Yes.
Thank you very much. Still Stéphanie Aglietti from AFP and RFI.
Sorry?
I was just introducing me. I just wanted to have a precision on Israel migrant part.
There is no more precision than what I gave.
But I didn't understand. There is an agreement between Rwanda and Israel, and are you?
I'm saying there is no precision more than what I gave. Take what I gave you. What I didn't give you, what are you taking? Take that. What I gave you as clear. I think that is the best way. Were you following what I was explaining about that?
Yeah, but I don't want to write any mistakes, so it was not clear to me. That's why I'm asking just for clarification.
Oh, you're right that it was not clear. You won't have made a mistake. If you say what I said was not clear.
I won't.
Yeah.
But no.
Good. Okay, so I think maybe if everybody is happy, then thank you very much.